Is there some unique way in which today's billionaires think and behave that sets them apart from the rest of us? There is without a doubt a great deal of luck involved in a lot of billionaire success stories out there, whether that's simply being born into a wealthy family or even just being in the right place at the right time. But luck alone cannot explain the repeated success stories of entrepreneurs who continue to manage, grow, and even invent multi-billion-dollar companies throughout their lives. Entrepreneurs like Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, and Elon Musk. In this video I want to share with you some of the unique ways of thinking three of the most successful people on the planet have used to get to where they are today. The typical guidance, I believe, for achieving success went something like this. Have a clear vision of what you want to achieve. Set measurable goals in line with that vision. Do something to work towards those goals every single day until you make it. And if I don't make it, that is simply because I did not follow one of these steps. Well, this was until I read billionaire Charlie Munger's book, Poor Charlie's Almanac. Charlie Munger is the vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway and longtime business partner of Warren Buffett, and he claims there is another equally important path to success, and that is thinking through what can go wrong. Things will relentlessly go wrong when you set yourself an ambitious goal, no matter how smart and hardworking you are. Realising this, Munger is known to continuously and methodically consider every way a plan can go wrong, and plans how to avoid each obstacle in his way. In his own words, he says, "Invert. Always invert. Turn a situation or problem upside down. Look at it backward. What happens if all our plans go wrong? Where don't we want to go, and how do we get there? Instead of looking for success, make a list of how to fail instead. Through sloth, envy, resentment, self-pity, entitlement, all of the mental habits of self-defeat. Avoid these qualities and you will succeed. Tell me where I'm going to die so I don't go there." Munger's approach helps him avoid roadblocks and be more prepared when he inevitably runs into one. When people spend too much time fantasizing about their future, they actually end up taking less action than they would if they also thought about what could go wrong and started making plans to avoid it. The bottom line is that being both pessimistic and optimistic is better than being just blindly optimistic. One of the best ways to win is to not lose. To apply this principle in your next project or venture, test your plan with this 3-step pre-mortem process developed by Meathead Movers CEO and co-founder Aaron Steed. First, list all of the possible ways the project could completely fail. Secondly, assign a probability to each of these possibilities. And thirdly, prioritize actions that can be taken to avoid failure. Steed created this process after noticing that certain projects within his company were continuously getting poor results. Rather than adding new procedures to help his project succeed, he developed the pre-mortem process to remove barriers that were causing them to fail. Now, we couldn't talk about billionaires without mentioning one of the most famous of them all, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is known as a god among investors and entrepreneurs. He is currently the third richest person in the world and the chairman and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, a holding company that owns hundreds of brands including Geico, Dairy Queen, Heinz, and it holds large investments in American Express, Coca-Cola, Apple, and IBM. Warren Buffett is known as making phenomenal investment decisions, putting his money on business fundamentals and long-term success, rather than worrying about new fads and market movements. Here we'll talk about one of the strategies he claims to have used throughout his career. So what is the secret to Warren Buffett's success? In Robert Hagstrom's book, The Warren Buffett Way, he reveals that checklists play a significant part in his investment decisions and success. Generally speaking, there are two types of mistakes you can make: those that are stupid and those that are ignorant. Ignorant mistakes happen when you don't know any better, and stupid mistakes happen when you do know better. Stupid mistakes are the hardest to stomach because they're often the ones that are the easiest to solve and avoid. Yet people, and especially smart people, make them over and over again. Warren Buffett and his 40-year business partner, who we've already mentioned, Charlie Munger, don't attribute their success to raw intelligence and brilliant ideas. Instead, they attribute a large part of it to consistently avoiding stupid mistakes by religiously following basic tenets and ideas they know will work. Talking about his and Buffett's strategy in his book, Munger states, "We try more to profit from always remembering the obvious than from grasping the esoteric." To counteract the often negative influence emotions can have on investment decisions, Buffett and Munger use several checklists, including ones for investing, problem solving, and psychological biases. I'll link to these in the description in case any of you want to see these for yourselves. They claim that the use of checklists has been crucial to Berkshire Hathaway's incredible 21.6% average annual return on investments over 4 decades, which is more than double the market average. More recently, checklists have been receiving well-deserved attention as a result of the Checklist Manifesto, written by Harvard Medical School Professor of Surgery Atul Gawande. "We have accumulated stupendous know-how," he says in his book. "We have put it in the hands of some of the most highly trained, highly skilled and hard-working people in our society, and with it they have indeed accomplished extraordinary things. Nonetheless, that know-how is often unmanageable. As more of us take on knowledge worker roles, where our livelihoods rely on collecting, interpreting and applying huge amounts of information, we're becoming more prone to the same errors. There's only so much we can carry around in our heads without forgetting something, and Gawande believes that the answer to this problem is checklists. A simple checklist can save lives and stop buildings from crumbling. It can make you better at your job and save you time. And this top doctor has evidence to prove it. In a fascinating but also slightly scary study from the World Health Organization, 8 hospitals who adopted the checklist saw deaths from surgery nearly cut in half. Blake Goodwin has used a decision-making checklist to build his Lion Eyes Media Group into a network of niche media sites with tens of millions of monthly visitors. His problem-solving checklists lay out the path to successful business strategy and counteracts any internal biases that impede him from reaching his desired destination. His checklists include the following key steps to solving an issue. Brainstorming. Firstly, dream up as many possible solutions as you can think of. This helps you avoid what's known as the availability bias, which typically results in us choosing the first solution that comes to mind, rather than what might be the best solution, which may take us longer to come up with. Secondly, test. Test as many potential solutions as you can afford to. This avoids the confirmation bias, which leads us to usually favour ideas that fit our pre-existing feelings and beliefs, even if they may not be the best for the problem. Thirdly, evaluate. Have a minimum success criteria for each experiment. This will prevent you from spending too much time and effort on bad ideas that aren't working in an effort to recoup sunk costs. And finally, learn. Deep dive into the data and learn from every experiment you try, not just the ones that work best. Avoid taking mistakes personally and don't feel ashamed over something that didn't work. Take everything as a learning experience and use that to grow. Even if these checklists help make big decisions just slightly better, it will change the entire trajectory of your life and business. It has for me. You can't make money by agreeing with the consensus view. This is a quote from Ray Dalio, founder of Bridgewater Associates, the largest hedge fund in the world. Doing what everyone else does is going to bring you average results. That's the definition of average. To Dalio, the key to having enduring, extraordinary performance is to do what others can't or won't do, and be right. This is obviously a lot easier said than done. I mean, just look at the fact that around 86% of professional investors do not beat the market. The numbers are pretty sobering for entrepreneurs too, with around 35% of new businesses failing within their first 3 years of operation. In a recent article, Dalio stated, "Whenever you're betting against the consensus, there's a significant probability you're going to be wrong, so you have to be humble. The good news is that with enough practice, you can put the odds in your favour." Thinking independently is more than just a simple hack, according to Ray. Generally speaking, it takes a great deal of courage to stand up against the herd when you believe you're right and everyone else is wrong. And it requires access to and an understanding of information that other people don't have. So here are some ways to hone in each of these abilities. Ability 1. Going against the herd. We are all wired to want to fit in socially, so standing up against the herd is extremely uncomfortable. Fortunately, courage is a skill that can be practiced and mastered. Emerson Spartz is the founder and CEO of Spartz Incorporated, a digital media company that owns a network of sites that attracts over 45 million monthly visitors. Spartz practices daily what he calls comfort zone challenges. He says, "These are little things I do that cause me to feel uncomfortable and socially awkward, but have no real negative impact. These challenges train him to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, so he has the courage when it really matters. His favourite challenge is the coffee cup challenge, which is simply asking for a 10% discount when you go to buy a cup of coffee. Give it a go the next time you go to Starbucks. Ability number 2. Develop an information advantage. One of the easiest ways to beat the herd is to have an information advantage. Here are 4 ways you can get that advantage. 1. You can build deep relationships with people who have accomplished goals that you want to accomplish. By building relationships based on mutual trust and respect, where others want you to succeed, people share information they would never publicly. 2. Learn from other fields and bring insights into your own. Most people these days focus on learning only about their own fields and specialising, even though other fields have proven insights that are applicable. Don't be put off by becoming a jack of all trades. Orit Gadish, the chairwoman of a multi-billion-dollar consulting company, Brain & Company, suggests being what she calls an expert generalist and developing a broad understanding of your adjacent fields of interest to give you a unique perspective and see the bigger picture. Number 3. Build a lab and not an experiment. Entrepreneurs who can conduct more and more experiments will discover more new information and therefore have a massive advantage over their competition. These entrepreneurs look at the businesses as laboratories, where they can constantly run experiments and test out new ideas, learning and growing their businesses from each experience. Many entrepreneurs fail here because they look at their business as just one big experiment and test just one idea. Fourthly and finally, develop the skill of extracting wisdom from others. Many successful people are not able to articulate how or what they do. They just do it. Being able to ask the right questions can help bring to surface this tacit knowledge. One way in which famous technology investor Peter Thiel uncovers this knowledge is by asking founders he backs what they strongly believe that no one else does.
So to summarise, be prepared for things not going as planned. Always turn a situation upside down and consider what could go wrong with an idea. Identify and plan for ways that it could fail, and you'll drastically reduce the chances of it ever happening. And if it does, you'll be ready. Use checklists to avoid making stupid mistakes. As we take on more and more complex tasks, a good checklist will help you avoid failure and ensure you complete the task without any issues. Next time you're stuck with a seemingly unsolvable problem, try the checklist developed by Blake Goodwin to help find a solution. Finally, don't be afraid of going against the crowd. When you're right and the consensus view is wrong, you can achieve extraordinary things. Come up with your own comfort zone challenges to practice your courage, and find ways to develop an information advantage over your competition.
I really hope this video has helped to give you some food for thought for your own business ideas or any other areas of your life. I plan on doing another video where I cover the likes of Elon Musk and Steve Jobs, so please subscribe to be notified of that. And if you made it this far, thank you so much. This is the first time I've attempted to make an animation like this, so I apologise if any of it was unclear. I'm going to keep working at it, but please comment below if you have any tips for how I could improve these videos in the future. Thanks.